I'm struck by some of the comments that I just heard and some of the comments that I've heard throughout the day. And I was thinking actually back to last week when we were all standing, many of us were standing at the press conference, and that group was a bipartisan group of local leaders that were standing at that press conference, people who felt that their voice had been heard. And I think that it's important to remember that we are all elected to represent the voices in our own communities. They have access to us well beyond the session and throughout the year. And, you know, we sometimes hear from people the negative that, you know, they don't want to have housing in their community, or they're worried about density, or they're worried about traffic, or they're worried about how many kids are going to be in the schools. And then for many of us, we knock doors and we make phone calls and we run into people in the grocery store and we hear the stories of the struggles of people to get affordable housing. And so when we're having this debate today, it makes me think of the people who are not in this room with us, the people who, without us, do not have a voice, the people in my community who have adult children with disabilities who are looking for greater housing options for them, the seniors in my community who say, you know, I really want to stay in Avon or Canton, but I can't because I can't afford to get out of my house and find a place that's affordable, but I'm really struggling to pay my bills and I don't know what I'm going to do. I had someone reach out that said they're in the process of going to have to file bankruptcy. It's important that when we're having this conversation about the need for housing, and I know that the number 100,000 was bandied about, but we actually think it's closer to 300,000 to 400,000 units that we need. And yes, perhaps some of those are immigrants, because there are still people coming to this country for the American dream. But there's also college kids that are graduating that actually have found jobs and want to stay here. There are businesses that are saying, I want to be able to grow my business here, to stay here in this state because it's a great state, and I can't do that because there isn't housing. I'm the wife of a small business owner. We heard that for years before we were able to do everything online. So I just want us to remember, as we are casting our votes tonight, all the people that are not with us in this room, whether it be the unhoused, the seniors, the people with disabilities, the young families, the older families, everybody in between that could use a break if we could just build some more units, and if we could be open to the possibility of welcoming people into our communities instead of closing the door to them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.